one question that came through was this. Right. Now, I want to give you a moment to read that because I'm quite sure that there are a few of us who have come into this issue. What I find to be a bigger problem is actually not the double tax numbers. In my experience, taxpayers who have more than one income tax numbers broadly fall into two categories. Category one are CCs which converted to PTYs, and category two are individuals where the ID number, who had to change their ID numbers. Those are generally the two broad brushstroke categories. There's obviously always exceptions. And in those cases, the appropriate person that you should always be getting to is, or speaking to directly, is accounts maintenance. So you need to, when you're making your appointment, the person you want to make sure that your query is logged there as accounts maintenance. Okay. Um, because they essentially need to link the two tax numbers with each other. Now, each process will be different. So I'm just giving you advance warning on this. Each process will be different because it will depend on what is linked where. Because unfortunately, what often happens if you have two income tax numbers is that your VAT may be linked to the one, but your PAYE may be linked to another. So please, when you say double tax numbers or you have issues with this, please always go back and double check what exactly was, what exactly was actually printed, not printed, what exactly was actually linked to that income tax number, so that when you are fixing your issue, you aren't inadvertently deleting one of your other tax numbers or tax profiles as well, right? The other thing, and this is something which sounds really obvious, but I've been amazed at how often this has come through, is please also, it's worth, if you're taking on a new client or you've got someone where they're having statement of account issues, and this is actually one of the other big reasons why representative taxpayer changes can sometimes struggle, is if entities are using VAT numbers which are linked to old companies, where somewhere in the past, I think the most egregious I've seen recently was quite a big company, had a very profitable business, but for whatever reason, their VAT number actually still referred to an old partnership, but everyone had just kept rolling it over. So the transition from partnership to company had never actually happened. So when they actually needed to do some work on the actual background of this VAT, of the VAT registration, they actually couldn't get it done because it was linked to the wrong income tax number. Okay. This is also sometimes the reason why the tax clearances don't work properly, or why you are struggling to get tax clearances, is because you have in the background got two income tax numbers. So it's definitely worth double checking that. All right. There's a follow-up question here. What if you don't have a double tax number, but you've got an estate which has been deregistered, but there's additional income that's been declared? Then in that case, yes, you would need to go to SARS and ask them to reactivate the number. You may need to go through the process of registering the executor again, because they've more than likely discontinued the executor. And it should be based off the old number. You won't get a new estate number if you've done your estate duty return and or your income tax returns, right? And then, yeah, it won't be a new one, because otherwise that just gets too difficult to monitor. All right. There was a follow-up question. Yeah, it is. And there's an example which has just come through in the chat about someone sitting with this exact problem going back to 2008. And as a result, there's now about 104,500 Rand in admin penalties, which is sitting on the wrong account. It's a very real issue. Look, in my experience, The biggest frustration in getting this resolved is actually getting to the right person more than anything else. Because once you've gotten to the right person and you want someone in accounts maintenance or you want someone on the e-filing team, they can generally do the background work and those admin penalties get waived because they can see that there was no actual transgression. It was actually a filing mistake, for lack of a better word, than anything else. Okay. Uh, Another comment which came through, but what about the individuals who have been subject to identity theft? What do we do with them? All right. The issue with identity theft um, is we do have those are ones you actually have to submit to the fraud department. That's something that you're not going to be able to deal with just off the straight contact center because SARS has got their own internal process for monitoring the risk of those identity theft type situations and their own internal process for dealing with the refund. So it's best to actually go and deal with the fraud department there rather than trying the call center.